Margaret Kuhlman at Soul Astrology. I'm finding this time so full of energy, lots of different energies. They're not all going the same way. They don't even seem to be taking account of each other. It's turbulent. I've written about it on my new moon letter, which goes out to a list of people who ask for it on email, and also posts in my website every month, along with this video. And when I look at the charts to speak of them in the video and share them with you, I never know quite what will be emphasized and how this talking will go. I think, as in the letter, the first thing that strikes me again is that Sun Moon in the middle of Virgo, 14 degrees, making such a perfect connection to Uranus in Taurus. We've been finding out about Uranus in Taurus through its squaring Saturn, and we know that it refers to changes in the Earth, our actual way of doing things, the material plane. Maybe the new moon in Virgo is focusing on the health and well-being, physicality, movement, food, rest, freedom to move, freedom to eat what suits your body, freedom from pressure and anxiety so that one can rest. All personal freedoms. At the moment, Saturn squaring is not so noticeable. So with the new moon's connection, we're able to see that need for freedom much more clearly. In the current thinking, Mercury is still connected to the Saturn, the structure of things, expecting, wanting even, some outside force to make things safe, everyone's opinion being the right one. And Chiron opposite Mercury, Chiron blasting that need for personal expression through the Mercury. In Libra, perhaps this month it's easier to actually get the communications across without causing huge ructions. But the thing which struck me, and I had to at last mention in the letter, and so I've spoken about at length in the letter, is that Eris is actually exactly opposite Venus, both exactly squaring Pluto this month, this new moon, while Mars actually trines Pluto. So the energy of organisation, trying to get things right, being picky, maybe critical, may well come in huge blasts of force, and those shock the Venus and shock the Eris. You may know that Eris is a very distant planet, moving so much more slowly than Pluto, been in Eris since 1926 and carries on there until 2048, just Eris. So in a way, she's in her own sign all this time. Eris being about very much expressing the self, express myself, get what I need, go where I want, don't hold me down. And Eris has a measure of resentment. Eris doesn't hold resentment terribly well. It tends to come out as rage. Very brief perhaps, but blasts of rage, anger. Opposite Venus anyway, so Venus is moving quite quickly across that opposite place. But just at this new moon happening to be opposite, Venus, our desire to relate to people, is in Libra, her own sign. It's very soft, wants to be diplomatic, wants to, say all these things, but nicely, please. But then there's Pluto, and Pluto has come on and off over the last few months to square Eris, absolutely. And between August and October this year, so we're right in it, that square is for the last time. Any ructions that were supposed to be having an effect will be having it. And I think this is a very good reflection of the turbulence that we're undergoing. The feeling that things are so much on the move, changes underfoot are happening. It's like running across volcanic lava. You know that as it comes out, the surface cools and it's black and it looks fine. It looks like you could walk on it. And eventually, of course, as it cools, you can. But to start with, it would be a very dangerous thing to do because it's very thin, that surface. It cracks and the lava is molten hot. So there's the feeling of running across the black lava flow. Now, I'm probably exaggerating for most people. I'm hoping you can see some of this in not your own life necessarily, but certainly in world events, which I won't specify. And any exaggeration will be perhaps a kind of light-hearted way of expressing that desire for relating around the Aquarian high principles, which Jupiter is trumpeting aloud. It's like, yes, freedom, personal, human rights, not the freedom to be aggressive, of course, the freedom to make choices, the freedom to move however one wishes as long as it doesn't harm anyone, to do to others what you would like them to do to you, and feel that they will treat you with the same respect you offer them. That's freedom, freedom in community, which is where we are headed. What we don't know is how long it'll take to get there. And time is such an uncertain experience, very changeable and fluid. So even to suggest how long something might take is a bit of a deception. We don't really know. Life unfolds itself. One thing that I really like in this chart is the Mars. Although he's trining Pluto, so all for that deep change and make it right and proper and detailed instructions, also has that quincunx, the brown line, to Jupiter. So he's doing it for the good of all, and in relating to each other through Venus trining Jupiter, we get to accept those instructions. Even though we don't know where they're taking us, we will go. There's courage there, not a wild courage, but a kind of preparedness. It's like sort out your own area and go forward shoulder to shoulder with others. In the full moon chart, Mercury has taken the position that Venus had, so that all that bit about the relating being at odds becomes something that can be spoken, not just a feeling of connectedness, but actual communication, good communication, trining the Jupiter, words spilling out, being heard. At the same time, Mars has moved forward into Libra, so wanting to be diplomatic, but trining the Saturn. So potentially the authority or the controlling forces coming into a position where they are prepared to listen. Venus moves into Scorpio. A lot of deep emotional stuff to rise out of our subterranean places. Perhaps as Mercury squaring Pluto speaks out those things that have been kept hidden for the sake of peace. And I'm perhaps speaking very much about personal life here, although everything in the personal is reflected in the world, so it's there for everyone. The moon is at the end of Pisces, very close to Neptune, at the full moon moment, both of them sextiling Pluto, a sort of spiritual understanding of the need for deep change. Pluto throws things up from the bottom, and there they are on top, to be seen. All the nutrients that were down there fertilise the land. And of course I don't just mean the physical land. We need to know what's down there. All needs to be spoken, seen, related to. So perhaps the way to manage this month is to just keep going, don't stop, and continually remind ourselves of the vastness of all of it, the vastness that knows no boundaries, that everything manifests from and holds everything, so that all may move and change in ways that are appropriate to their own evolution within this unchanging whole. This broader view and sense that we have of being rooted, each individual rooted in that oneness, is what we need for all the Virgo bits and pieces not to overwhelm us. And I wish you all the best with it, and myself. In the new moon letter I have said more about Eris, especially the timing of this square between Pluto and Eris, and where it might be leading. On many levels all is well, but in the story you live all is turbulent. Come beyond the dust, the smoke and ashes in your life, and find our company in nature. The food you eat grows first with soil and wind and rain, and is given abundantly, free to all. Receive the natural love life has for you, and share from the overflow of your heart.